welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jared. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a short and condensed week, on top of the fact that you were already heading out of town on Friday, because you're going back to Missouri Friday morning to go visit your sister.
True, yes.
Because she's 20 months pregnant.
Just about that.
So you're going for the baby shower for the weekend. So that was already happening on Friday. And then Minion Land over at Universal got into soft opening on, like, I think it was Saturday.
Right.
So we decided, well, okay, we'll go Monday. So it's already a compact week. So we went over to, took a little day trip to Universal on Monday to check out Minion Land and then do everything else we have to do. So it's been a little bit busy of a week, but it's okay. It's all right. And we will talk fully. It's been, it's true. It's been a little crazy, but we will talk about Minion Land on the Universal show on Monday. We'll have that come out. And then, so Jamie will be out of town from Friday until Monday.
Yep.
So that me and the kids will figure some stuff out. It'll be good. I'm glad, you get to go see your sister and do the baby shower stuff. And
yeah, I'm excited to see her. She's due next month, so she's feeling pretty ready to have this baby. So I'm excited to see her and the rest of my family and some friends while I'm there. It'll be busy. It'll be busy a couple of days while I'm there. So
yes, and then we will be back in Missouri in like August after she has the baby.
Yes.
So that it's just gonna be. Yeah, I feel like today was officially the first day of summer, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Happy summer.
Yeah, happy summer. Is that a thing? Do you say that to people?
know.
But I feel like this summer is just going to be done because I feel like it's just going to be all of a sudden September out of nowhere because that's how it goes now.
For sure. Because next month is birthday month.
It is birthday month for America and us.
Yes,
it is birthday month.
But not only that, it's a big birthday for you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I won't talk about it too much, but Jared has a big birthday.
I don't
this year.
I turn 40.
You do turn 40.
I feel 30, so it's fine. Okay. I don't know. I feel
it's just a number, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, I'm gonna be 40, but I don't really feel any different than I did in my early 30s, at least to my knowledge. I suppose ignorance is bliss. I don't feel it, so I don't know.
Well, good.
But yeah, so it's if for those that don't know, July is all of our birthdays.
Mine's the 7th. Jared's is the 8th. Our son's the 16th, and our daughter's the 18th.
Mm-hmm. Then you throw in my brother's in July as well.
And possibly this new baby will be her due date is the 29th.
And your mom is also July.
Is the 16th.
So basically, and then you have America in there. So
America.
July is always just jam packed with everything.
Yep.
So
it's true.
July will be here soon enough, so I'm sure you hear about that. But yes, we're not going to talk about birthdays today, though.
Okay.
So I guess we could wish ourselves all happy early birthdays or something. Anyways.
Happy early birthday to us.
Or happy summer, whatever you want to say. And speaking of already going to feel like fall, some of the things we're going to talk about today are some Christmas announcements that we talked about last week. We're probably going to be announced on Thursday. So typically how it sometimes goes is we record this show Wednesday nights right now when your parents are here, like Wednesday afternoons. And then Thursday is usually whenever news gets dropped by Disney sometimes.
Gosh, they do that a lot.
And we know that, but it's still, so it's like, well, we could change the show time or we could just, we'll just talk about it next week.
But nah.
So we're going to talk about these things as they dropped last week. And then we're going to give our review of Wyndham Lake Buena Vista, where we stayed a couple of weeks ago, as we try and hit all the, people ask us to hit all these off-property hotels. So that's kind of what we're doing here.
We're just going to go all through the Disney Springs one eventually.
Make our way through.
Yep.
So, but before we get to the news, just want to remind everybody, if you want even more content, if you want to support the show, something that we do, if you notice, we have, Zip Travel. And that's kind of it when it comes to sponsors. Every once in a while, we have some new sponsors come on. But for the most part, we keep everything sort of like we have our own product. We have our own T-shirt line. And we have Club 32. And we just kind of keep it simple in the ways if you want to support the show, because it's that way if we can actually, we feel like it's tangible. We can, like, if something's wrong, we can fix it sort of situation. So if you want even more content, if you want to be able to, maybe interact with us or other people even more, you should maybe look at joining Club 32. So we named Club 32 because Club 33 is a little expensive, and Club 32 is not as expensive. So if you can't afford Club 33, Club 32 is your next best option. So in there we have a private podcast feed with additional shows. Like we have Cool Kids Kitchen, which is a monthly live stream where we make a Disney dish. Usually it turns out well. Sometimes it's a nightmare. Either way, it's a good time. We have the Club 32 Speakeasy, where I'll just go live on the back porch and hang out and just chat with everybody about whatever comes up. We have the Club 32 show, where we do a live stream every Tuesday. We have C-Team at the Movies, where when you're hearing this Thursday night, we're going to be doing basically a 90s sitcom where they go to Disney World watch party. So we're going to watch a couple of episodes. I think it's going to be Boy Meets World and Step by Step, I think.
Yes.
So we're going to check those out. And all sorts of stuff we do. We get discounts, you get 20% off of C-Team apparel and 1901 Candle Company products and a bunch of other things. So if you're interested in joining there, you can go to ctmvip.com. We have monthly or yearly options, and you can even do a free trial if you want to see it's for you. So again, ctmvip.com. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us. And if so, we'd love to have you. So, all right, well, let's get to the news that was announced last week. The first one we have is... And this one we expected one of them. This one was a little interesting because you had kind of said they were looking at doing something like this, which Disney Jollywood Nights are coming to Hollywood Studios this holiday season.
Yes, this is a new separately ticketed event that will be lasting from 8:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. on 10 select nights. And this is in November and December. The style is very old Hollywood and is geared more toward adults and older kids, not as much toward the little ones. And they kind of alluded to that in some of the presentation materials. What they will have a DJ spinning a mix of holiday tunes. Commissary Lane comes to life with a lively Latin street fair. Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy will be special guests live at Theater of the Stars, along with some of their Disney friends, including Tiana and Belle, who actually sings a song from the Enchanted Christmas movie that they have. What's This? A Nightmare Before Christmas sing-along at Hyperion Theater, hosted by Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie. They will be there live. The Hollywood Brown Derby will transform into a piano bar with a speakeasy-style party.
See, that's pretty cool.
Tip Top Club will come to life at the Hollywood Tower Hotel Courtyard with a 1920s ghostly band, cocktails, and food. Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, Nighttime Spectacular returns. I think 2019 was the last time we saw it.
It was before COVID.
Yes.
I know that.
There'll be special magic shots and PhotoPass experiences with Mickey and friends in their new holiday Hollywood gear. Powerline Max, Edna Mode, Phineas and Ferb will also be there. Frozone, I think, as well. Most of the rides will be open, including Rise of the Resistance that will utilize a virtual queue. There'll be special drinks and treats. There's nothing free included. Everything does have a charge with it. So it's not like the Christmas party with cookies and hot chocolate.
Or the after hours where you had the drinks and
right. This is
snacks.
this is not like a typical after hours thing. No. It says guests of select Walt Disney World Resort hotels, the Swan and Dolphin, Shades of Green can buy tickets starting June 29th. Tickets for everyone else may be purchased July 6th. And the ticket prices range from $159 to $179 per person. And the party dates are November 11th, 18th, 20th, 27th, and 29th. And December 4th, 6th, 16, 18, and 20.
Okay. The first thing I will say, I'll get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
I love this idea. I like, we've talked about many times, I love the 1920s, 30s feel of a lot of like the Beverly Hills Boulevard there of Hollywood Studios or Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard.
So I think a lot of this sounds really cool. Now that price is pretty high, especially considering most after hours events, which is very similar to, includes, sodas and, you don't get like alcohol included, but you get some drinks and snacks included. But with that said, I like the idea of this because you got the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which is very, family and kids. And then this is something that the adults can go do over here. I think it sounds really cool. Honestly, looking into this more, a lot of this, like the speakeasy, I would imagine the holiday tunes would include like Frank Sinatra style of music, like Christmas songs. Yeah, it sounds really cool.
So when I first saw this, I was so excited because Old Hollywood. I'm a huge fan of Old Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
and I've talked about this with you before. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast, but
It's came up a few
yes,
times.
Hollywood Studios, has quickly crawling back to be my favorite park. It was for a long time when I was a kid. Then it kind of fell off because it went through a little bit of change there. But it's becoming my favorite park again. But I'm very excited about this. So excited that I have decided that I will be going to the first night, November 11th.
Well, it also happens to fall within our Club 32 meetup or our November meetup. So we have a November meetup and a January meetup. So it falls on that weekend of the meetup. So it worked out really. It was almost serendipitous the way that worked out.
I know, and there's at least a dozen other people from the meetup that are coming too. So it'll be a fun little group to go do this with. I'm most excited for the Tip Top Club at the Tower of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for like the lounge piano bar thing. I think that'll be cool. The Muppet thing, the Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy thing, I think that'll be cute. I'm not a huge big fan of Muppets, but I'm excited to see this. I'm just all this entertainment. They have a lot of entertainment opportunities here, and I think that's why the price is higher because there's a lot of live things like like the sing along, and then the Muppet Show, and then the band, and then the club, and you've got the fire or the Jingle Bell Jingle Bam. So I think there's a lot to offer with this as well.
I agree. Although I do think at that price point where you're starting to creep close to $200 per person, I mean, you could throw in some sodas. It doesn't really cost them much. I mean, if we're being quite honest, I mean, it would just be one of those things where it's like, it's a perceived value more than anything. But
I mean, we're still 5 months away, from this. So
they
could make some changes. We don't know.
They could. I mean, it does sound really cool. I mean, I'm bummed because, you're going to get tickets to go. I would like to go, but I don't know how that's going to work with your mom may be able to watch the kids that weekend. So more than likely, only one of us can go to this. So either way, one of us will go and talk about it on the show and then vlog it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'll take a camera.
Yeah, but it does sound really cool. I am the same with you. I like the old Hollywood feel. In fact, I really wish a lot of these aspects, and I've said this before on other episodes, I really wish Disney would make an old Hollywood themed hotel. I think it would work.
Oh yeah,
great. Like you take almost like the Tower of Terror, theming kind of it. Mm-hmm. They have like a speakeasy,
but not make it scary.
Right, don't make it scary. Just make it like an old hotel.
Right.
I think that'd be great. Like I think that would be really cool.
But I think this is a really, really neat idea, and I think there's a lot of people that are very excited. So all of this is saying it looks like it's going to be something that will sell out, especially since there's only 10 dates.
And you don't know how many people they're going to. Like, we have no idea what the capacity for the party is.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, are they selling it? I haven't seen it. Are they selling it like an after hours type thing?
No, they're selling it like it's a Christmas party thing.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, I mean, given that it's not quote unquote an after hours, because after hour events are all basically the selling point is there's not many people in the park and it's almost like you have the park to yourself. I don't think they're selling it this way. So I think there may be more people, especially given all the entertainment being offered, because that'll spread people around. And they're probably assuming most people aren't going to be riding rides.
I mean, I wouldn't think so. I don't think I'd spend that much money for only 4 hours.
Right.
To just do the rides. Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Well,
some people will.
And things like they do this because it makes you kind of pick and choose what you want to do. It's like we talk about many times which we'll talk about in a moment, the Christmas parties. You have to have a plan going in because you can't do everything.
Right.
You don't have enough time. So I don't imagine this being an after-hours event in that there's very, very select few people. Now, I'm sure this will sell out, but I'm imagining there'll be a pretty decent-sized crowd they'll let in.
I'm guessing it'll be... Now, it won't be the size of crowd at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party because it doesn't have the capacity. That park doesn't. But it'll feel busier than after
I think
hours.
It'll feel like... I agree. I think a lot of people were seeing this thinking, like an after-hours thing. And I don't think it's... I mean, obviously, the hours of it maybe seem like that, but I don't think it's going to be in terms of the crowd level thing. But either way, I think it sounds really cool. I'm very excited to see what it's like. And
if you want to do it, get on June 29th and buy your tickets. Because, again, I really do think they'll sell out.
Yes.
So
It will indeed.
yep.
So, well, and speaking of Christmas, there was an announcement about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which is returning this year. Is not a huge surprise there.
Right. 25 select nights are going to be having the Christmas party between November 9th and December 22nd. And this runs 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. And this is what they have said is returning. Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade, Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time Fireworks, Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration, ride overlays like Jungle Cruise and Space Mountain. And I believe the Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor as well. Club Tinsel, Disney Junior Jingle Jam, Tron will be open and they will be using a virtual queue. And of course they will have treats and drinks that you can buy, but also like hot chocolate and cookies like before. Tickets are priced at $159 to $199 per person. And they go on sale for resort guests on June 29th, July 6th for everybody else, just like the other one. So
yeah, I mean, nothing groundbreaking new or anything for Christmas party.
The only thing they did mention something, new characters may show up in the parade.
Yeah, I mean, I think little changes here and there. I mean, for the most part, they don't tend to make drastic changes when it comes to these parties.
Right.
Every year. I mean, they kind of have a formula for them. And
right. Oh, and I love the Christmas party. It's so fun. And I only got to spend about an hour and a half there last year. But you know, I love the parade. I love the fireworks. I love the ambiance. I love the Snope on Main Street, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But something else that is going to be new this year that's not technically part of the party, but you can see it during the party or before the party. It's called a Frozen Holiday Surprise. And it's a brand new Frozen inspired entertainment experience that will illuminate the castle in a whole new way. So what does this mean?
It means Jared was right.
Jared was right.
In that, I know there was a lot of hope of everyone hoping the dream lights were going to come back.
Yeah.
And I've said while that is really cool, they're not going to do that.
And the dream lights are the icicle lights that they put on the castle. And they had done this prior to the pandemic. Beautiful. I loved it. It made the castle look gorgeous. And you know, ever since then they haven't done it. They've just used projections. When projections are fine. They're
projections are easy.
They're also easy.
And you don't have to manually put up lights and take down lights.
I know that's the reason. I'm sure that's part of the reason. But so yeah, no dream lights this year, but it will be lit, quote unquote, lit a different way than it has been before. So
I mean, they could pretty easily, replicate that type of thing on the castle. So maybe they'll do that.
I mean, yeah.
Wouldn't be.
I don't know.
But I mean, it has been pretty cool the last few years that they have added. I mean, they've done this at Hollywood Studios to do that projections onto Tower of Terror with the little things. And they've done that. They did it last few years on the castle, little 5-minute things here and there. So, I think stuff like that is cool. I mean, I think that gives you the pros of having the projections is things like that versus the icicles are, they light them and then that's kind of it. I mean, they're on the castle.
But it's breathtaking.
Well, but it also makes if you think about it, it's like sort of like Tower of Terror. It makes the castle almost become an attraction in itself for a show. And so when you're talking about Christmas parties, they're constantly wanting things for people to do to spread crowds out. So I think that's part of it as well, is turning instead of a stagnant one-time show into, hey, we're going to have multiple castle shows throughout the night.
Well, I think they'll do it. Well, they used to do it twice. They used to light the dream lights twice.
Yeah.
In the same night.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You could easily do this. You could do it more than twice. You could do it a few times throughout the night. And
I don't think they're doing it that way. I think it's a one-time thing, and you can see it like before the party, and like during the party, like maybe twice.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I don't think.
I'm just saying they could if they chose to.
I guess.
Well, keeping with the Christmas theme, we also have Festival of the Holidays news, and that it will be held shockingly at Epcot, as it always is, November 24th through December 30th.
Candlelight Processional is coming back as well, and there'll be more information about dining packages to come at a later date. But no shocker that that's coming back. That comes back every year.
Now, the real question is Kurt Russell coming back?
Well, remains to be seen. We'll see. I was looking at that date, November 24th. That seems really early to be starting it because usually it's like I guess it's on the latter part of November, like the end of the last week. But I looked and Thanksgiving is like the 22nd. It's like the earliest it can ever be this year. So we have a whole nother week plus more of November after Thanksgiving, which is kind of crazy. Because like when it falls on like the 28th on some years, then it's like bing, bang, boom, December. It's here.
Right.
So.
Well, Christmas, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really pay much attention to that anymore, given that you started putting up Christmas decorations like right after Halloween.
As one should.
Yeah. Which
yes.
I don't really, honestly, I used to kind of fight this. And fellas, if you're not married, or if you are, here, just a little advice I have, pick your battles. And this is one I was like, I like Christmas. It's fine. So I don't fight it. I know some people took a really hard stance on it, and I was just like, it's fine. So since that happens, I don't really pay much attention to that part of it as much. But yeah, you're right. On the ones where all of a sudden it's Thanksgiving and then it's all of a sudden December, and then you feel like Christmas is like super rushed versus, when it's on the 22nd.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
That's all I got for marriage advice.
Okay, great.
I have other things, but I won't say it.
Okay.
All right, and with some other Christmas things returning, we have Merry Menagerie, the Christmas tree stroll over in Disney Springs, Santa Claus, Toy Story Land characters in their holiday outfits, and Sunset Season's greetings. Maybe?
So I had a question about this. Like they said that you'll see projections on Tower of Terror again, but they didn't mention Sunset Season's greetings by name.
I don't know what else.
Are they going to do the show?
I don't know what else it would be. I mean, that's kind of been sort of expected. That? So, I mean, Sunset Season's greetings, again, we've talked about many times, like obviously Magic Kingdom for Christmas is really cool, but Hollywood Studios I've always really liked for Christmas because it has that old Hollywood 1920s, 1930s vibe. And I always liked that Sunset Season's greetings. But in all honesty, once you've seen it once, it's kind of like, it's just the same show that repeats over and over again. Yeah. So I don't know. They may not be promoting it as much given that they've got that, the jolly, the after power or the party thing at Hollywood Studios. Now.
Yeah.
The jolly
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, maybe, but.
I would assume they'd keep. I mean, it doesn't, they already got that all set up. So I assume they probably would.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I'm sure more will return than they have already mentioned, but this was just the halfway to Halloween announcement that they wanted to cover. So
yes, and cover it they did. Well, along with fall and early winter, we have a bunch of hotel discounts that are released from Disney, which again is not common this early. So
yeah,
if you're tempted to go, this might, you could save some money here on this potentially.
So basically from now until the end of the year, there's a discount for everybody. So in October, November, December, you can save up to 30% off for select dates. And that's for anybody. That's just regular, good old traveler to Disney World. No special circumstances or anything. Florida residents can save up to 35% off. Disney Plus subscribers can save up to 35%, and annual pass holders can save up to 40%. And of course, these are select dates, and certain hotels don't qualify. So it just very much depends on when you're going and where you're staying. But Zip Travel can help you book your vacation dates for these discounts, and they will get you the best rate. Zip Travel, travelwithzip.com.
Yes, travelwithzip.com is where you can do that. And
Absolutely.
They can really just break it down really easy for you, and you don't have to do a bunch of 900 tabs doing research.
Yes.
That happens sometimes. So,
but you can get some very good deals because like Jared said, traditionally you don't see a lot of these big discounts for like late fall and early winter. Sometimes you do, but I don't think we did last year.
Not this early, no.
I think last year it was like maybe 25%.
So yeah, if you're looking to go to any of the party things we talked about, you can probably find some deals there. So,
Yes.
All right. Next news story we have is that the Flavors of Florida is returning to Disney Springs this summer.
Yes, presented by Corksicle.
I think they present everything now.
I think they do.
What are they?
A Corksicle?
It's
like water bottles and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had never heard of them until they start. I mean, I guess they're doing their job until they started promoting things through Disney.
They're heavily promoting. So this event is going through July 1st through August 13th. Over 30 locations throughout Disney Springs will feature a variety of dishes and sips that you must try, like the Lime Garage burger from Deluxe Burger. Sounds interesting.
That sounds terrible. The Lime What kind of burger? I want the Garage burger.
There are a bunch of new items this year in different places. And again, this is a very long list, so I'm not going to mention everything. But I will say what they're going to have at Gideons, because I thought this was interesting. So Gideons will have a key lime chocolate chip cookie, vanilla bean cookie dough infused with Florida key lime juice and blanketed with premium chocolate chips and special key lime pie crumbs. And this is new. They're also going to have an orange mocha nitro cold brew, which is dessert coffee made with locally roasted beans, maple syrup, rich dark chocolate, and delicious Florida oranges. That sounds like something you'd like.
Maybe I need to try it. Potentially.
Right. I mean, like, does it sound good to you?
It doesn't sound like something I would necessarily like, but I would be willing to try it. I'm not a big fan of dark chocolate.
Okay.
And with the oranges in there with it, it sounds with coffee. I don't know. I'd be willing to try it though.
You'd be willing to try it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. And I won't mention everything else, but a lot of seafood, a lot of citrus, and a lot of key lime. So if you like key lime, this is the time to go to Disney Springs because they've got a lot of stuff with key lime flavoring.
There is a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
There's some alcoholic beverages as well.
Like even at T-Rex. Even T-Rex is doing stuff.
Yeah. I think
crazy.
they have they've got a pale ale or something. So some of it looks really good. One thing that looked really interesting, I think this would be good, is Everglazed Donuts is having a orange lemonade with sweet cold foam. So it's a blend of lemonade and orange juice, and then it has cold foam on top. That could be really good. Like almost an Orange Julius situation. But yeah, so anyways, they got a lot of stuff over there at Disney Springs.
Yes,
including a garage burger.
Right. That garage burger was a little fun.
What's on it? Just stuff in the garage. All right. Anyways, all right. The next two stories we have are about two different people stepping down from Disney. So first one we have is Disney CFO, and at one point we had heard this as well. Potential Iger successor Christine McCarthy is stepping down from the company.
Yes, and I'm actually going to read what I think it was Iger said about it. He said, Christine McCarthy is one of the most admired financial executives in America, and her impact on the Walt Disney World Company during 23 years of dedicated service cannot be overstated. Christine has served as a key strategic anchor during a period of great transformation, and she and I have discussed her desire to ensure an orderly and successful CFO succession in advance of the company's transition to the next CEO. She is stepping down from her CFO role as she takes family medical leave, but has graciously offered to move into an advisory position to assist her successor in assuming the duties she has so expertly handled these many years. And she said, I'm immensely grateful for the opportunity Bob provided me to serve as CFO of this company. She's said, although I'm leaving, I look forward to helping with the transition. Yada, yada. Basically, like, thank you for letting me transition out of this slowly, I guess. But this all takes place July 1st, I believe.
Just once I'd like to see somebody, go away and be like, yeah, they were terrible. They're the worst. Then the rebuttal's like, yeah, I didn't like working for Bob. They won't do that, but I'm just saying they all the same thing.
But I wanted to say she joined Disney in 2000 as treasurer and became CFO in 2015. So she's been with the company for a while.
She's she's this is interesting, I will say. So you have obviously the statement that Disney gives, and then you have, having been around the corporate world and, you know, knowing people in it, it's very much like what you see in the shows many times in movies. It's kind of like that. So some of the things that have been leaking out were that she was, well, there's a couple of things. First off, she was named in that lawsuit.
Okay.
The Disney Plus lawsuit that was named her and Chapek and Kareem Daniels.
Right.
So I no clue if that has anything to do with it, but she was named in that lawsuit a couple weeks ago, which they were alleging essentially fraud.
Right.
Which is not anything to take lightly.
Right.
The other thing that has been hearing is that she was at odds with Iger and some of the other higher-ups, overspending. And from what I had heard, it was spending on especially like movies and shows, which to her credit, she has a point. Because a lot of these, if you're looking at these Disney movies and shows, they all have $250 million budgets or more. I mean, Little Mermaid, Guardians, like every single one of these, even some of the, they came out and said Andor, the Star Wars show that's on Disney Plus, I think it had a budget of $250 million.
That's insane.
So, you know, if that was one of them, which she would be the type that, you know, she's CFO, so that would be part of her role. So I don't know. We probably will never know, but it's interesting things there. So a lot of times what they say is not always what happened, but it very well could be. I also read her husband has been, you know, like I think she's battled cancer before.
Oh, yeah.
And her husband has been ill. So it very well could just be that as well. So either way, you know, wish her luck.
Sure.
And the other person stepping down is, and this is reported in Variety, I believe, as of yesterday, which is Disney's Chief Diversity Officer, Latondra Newton, is exiting the company. And her reasoning was basically to go work somewhere else. She had other opportunities, is what it said. And I think she has some sort of jewelry brand of her own or something like that as well. So it's interesting. You have two, you know, higher level corporate positions stepping down within a week of, I mean, the same week essentially. So I find that interesting.
Well, and they're also kind of moved around some vice presidents of Animal Kingdom, and they're kind of moving them around as well. So there's been a lot of staffing changes.
Well, and it makes you wonder. There's a lot of layoffs going on at Disney.
I know, it's so bad.
And it could be, when you're talking higher level positions, many times, and I'm not saying this is what happened, but many times they're not going to announce someone was fired. They just left the company. And it's a discreet layoff, if you will, that usually has also a, you know, an NDA attached, excuse me, an NDA attached with it, where they can't say something. I don't know if that's the case, but the timing of it, along with the other firings, plus there was a lot of people that were let go on the Pixar side that had to do with the Lightyear movie that didn't do so well. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. Not a lot of it at Disney corporate, but a lot of it to do with, you know, on the animation side and stuff like that. So again, we'll probably never know, but it is interesting, I will say the least. I mean, it's either it could be a firing, or if, you know, sometimes it's like if people don't like the direction something's going, people start leaving. That can and has happened at companies before. So, you know, who knows? But that is what happened this week on that front. So, but that is all the news stories that we have. But Jamie does have a poll time.
Poll time. All right. Well, this week for poll time, I asked a very, very simple question. Which deluxe or moderate Disney resort hotel has the best dining? And I asked them to explain why in the comments. They could choose more than one. So let's see. Out of all of the hotels that I listed, 35% said Polynesian. 26% said Animal Kingdom Lodge. 11% said Riviera. And let's see, 9% said Contemporary. 6% said the Grand Floridian, and everybody else got 2 or 1%.
I would agree with that. I think
You think Polly is the best food?
Best. It has the most. Well, does it have the most? It has the most notable. I mean, you got Ohana and Kona being pretty up there. Although it's a sneaky one. There is Contemporary. It does have some good one. I mean, Steakhouse 71.
Gosh, I love Steakhouse 71.
California Grill. Riviera. I mean, I don't disagree. I might disagree with the order maybe, or rearrange the order of it, but the top 4 is pretty. That's a pretty good top 4.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Riviera. I mean, obviously, I think Riviera has, for such a small hotel, from quick service all the way up to Topolino's, it's all really good.
And that's kind of what I was thinking a little bit going into this. Like, yeah, you've got your table service dining, but like quick service. Look at quick service. What is the best quick service? Captain Cook's is delicious.
Yeah.
They have very good options there. But so does Riviera with Primo Piatto.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about Animal Kingdom Lodge, Mara. Like, I don't know if it's really good or not, because I don't think I've ever eaten there.
I've never eaten there. I mean, Animal Kingdom Lodge is one that kind of people forget about. It does have good food, but again, it's not as, it's farther away from everything else. Yeah. And Contemporary, their quick service is nothing to write home about.
The Contempo Cafe.
It's all right. I mean, it's just, when you think of basic quick service grab and go food, it's what it is. It's not necessarily bad. It's just nothing that, it's no, like Primo Piatto is legitimately really good quick service food. Like far and I've never had, I think everything we've had there has been great. Like it's still the best tomato soup I've ever had.
The Croque Monsieur.
And it's a quick service place. So that one is above and beyond. So I think, I think maybe I might put Riviera higher, but either way, the top 4 is a good top 4. I guess we could all debate the order of it all, but
yeah, I mean, those are all good options. Yeah. So everybody else kind of said the same thing, like gave reasons like what they like specifically at these places. A lot of people said, the noodles, the pork nachos at Polynesian, the Animal Kingdom, Sanaa, Boma, Chico, all of those. Topolino's at Riviera.
You bring up a good point, though, the quick service, like making it well-rounded. And Polynesian does have that.
Polynesian also has Dole Whip.
They do have Dole Whip.
That's a winner right there. But
and it's the Polynesian.
It does. It has the amazing views. Yeah, there's like a lot of reasons. I mean, we're not like pitting these against each other.
Disagree. Fight. They're going to fight it out. We're doing Joker style. Break a pencil and just throw it in there. Was that what you did? No, it was a pool cube. That's what we're going to do. Yeah.
That's right. Just to like see like who is the absolute best. No, I just kind of wanted to get a general idea of what everyone thought was, again, the top 4 or 5 or whatever. And I predicted that. I thought we'd get more like beach and yacht club. I thought we get more of those maybe.
But they don't have really anything to write home about quick service wise. I mean.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they do have beaches. They have Cape May.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Listen, I see a reel where he goes like, "We're having tryouts," and you just throw the pool cue. That's what he did in the movie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the Joker in The Dark Knight. The second Batman.
That's right. Okay, I was like, what are we talking about?
Sorry, I may have.
My brain is super weird.
The Joker, who was a diabolical villain, he took his enemies.
I know what you mean now.
And had them fight till they, Anyways, sorry.
That was.
I thought you would have got it.
Off the rails.
Because they are having tryouts. Anyways. You don't like my Joker?
I don't like the Joker.
All right. Well, anyways, he's a jolly guy. All right. Well, thank you, Jamie, for the poll time.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the poll this week. I will have a new poll next week.
Yes. If you want to be part of the next poll time, you can do it in 2 ways. You can join the Capture the Magic Facebook community, or I suppose you could do both. You can also follow us on Instagram at CapTheMagic, where Jamie posts those in stories.
I do.
So you can double vote.
In the stories. Why'd you say it like that?
I don't know.
Stories.
I don't know. I was doing it like an anchor man.
Great job.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Anyways. All right. That is all we have for poll time. So thank you, Jamie. Moving on.
Okie dokie.
All right. Moving on now to... Now you got me thinking I need to talk like a.
Don't talk like Ron Burgundy, please.
I didn't say
not.
I said an anchor person.
Okay.
Don't they always do like the Thank you, Jamie, for that report. Anyways, anyways. All right. Next, we're going to talk about, like we mentioned earlier, our stay at Wyndham Lake Buena Vista.
Buena Vista.
And what we thought about it. So this is a good neighbor hotel in the Disney Springs hotel area.
There are 232 guest rooms with great views of Disney Springs and the whole property. I mean, you can see beyond Disney Springs, even to like Epcot and Hollywood Studios. And it's 19 stories tall, so you can get good views.
It is. So obviously we said this in Disney Springs hotel area, but this is right next to the pedestrian bridge across from the marketplace area of Disney Springs.
Literally, like almost right across.
I mean, from our room, we could actually see into Disney Springs.
Oh, yeah. It's about a 5 to 10 minute walk, I'd say. I mean, you don't have to cross traffic. You just kind of turn right and go across the bridge and you're in the marketplace. Yeah. So, I mean, you can't beat the location.
Yeah. Location-wise. So some of the amenities and things you can find here. What are some things you can find here, Jamie?
They've got 2 pools, a hot tub, a kids splash area, a basketball court, sand volleyball courts, a full service restaurant, which I think was doing a buffet for like breakfast buffet, poolside bar. They have Joffrey's coffee in the lobby, which was nice. We got coffee there, didn't we?
Oh, we did?
Yes, I thought so. Eclipse Lounge lobby bar. They've got a fitness center, 19,000 square feet of meeting space, and an arcade as well.
Yeah, it was a sad arcade.
It was sad.
It was an arcade where dreams just went to die. You're like, oh.
And a huge laundry room.
Yeah.
You see how big it was?
It was a big laundry room.
It was a big laundry room.
The supposed, quote, basketball court was also kind of sad. It was like a slab of concrete with an old goal. I mean, you could play basketball on it.
Sure.
But it's not like...
I don't think it gets used that much.
I'm going to guess it has not.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's a really good... I feel like if the ball took one bad bounce, it's like in the water. But yeah. But it is technically there. So if you want to use it, you can.
They do have cell parking. It's $22 per day or $28 for valet. They also have shuttles that you can take to the parks. It is scheduled, so you have to schedule that ahead of time, but it is included with your stay. So if you don't have a car, you do have transportation. But like all the other Disney Springs hotels, they don't drop you off in the best locations, especially if you're not like staying on Disney property or Disney hotel. So like Magic Kingdom and Epcot, they'll take you to TTC.
Yeah.
You know. So, and then there is a $34 resort fee as well.
Good old resort fee.
I hate resort fees.
I loathe resort fees.
I would rather them make the daily rate higher than tack on a resort fee. Like seriously. Like I know like looking at it logistically, it's probably the same amount of money I'm paying, but for whatever reason, it just makes me so mad to pay that resort fee.
Well, yeah, I mean, the resort fee first off, it's implying that you're staying at like I guess it implies that it's optional. Like if you'd like to experience our resort, you're like, well, what's your resort? Like the amenities that we list. So you can't opt out of it. So it's just this hidden. Basically, it's a hidden tax. Is what it is.
It covers like Wi-Fi and stuff like that.
Which and then it just makes me just immediately just.
All right, who did this? I'm not mad. I just want to know who did it so I can punish them.
That's exactly how I feel every time, and I agree with you. I think. And now the thing is, they used to do this in the cruise line industry a lot. And then eventually they had legislation to stop this.
Well, isn't that a thing now? Aren't they working on it?
Well, it's going to happen. I've said this ever since we started the show. This eventually will happen because it's not technically, whatever you want to call it, consumer fraud, but it is misleading because what they want to be able to do is they want to say you can stay at our hotel for under, $150 a night. That's what they can list. That doesn't include that there's an extra $30 for the resort fee. So technically, it's not really under $150, but they can say it is.
Plus a 12.5% tax
right,
on top of that.
Right, and then you're talking about self-parking.
Right.
So many times they can say it's $150 and it's actually like more like $200 a night. And mind you, this is not the only hotel that does this. Most of them,
absolutely,
in the Disney Springs area, and many of them all over the country do this. So I don't like it at all. I wish it would stop. And if they're not probably going to stop it on their own. So I'm sure eventually there's going to be legislation that will just put an end to it. But yeah, so just, anytime you're booking a hotel, look at that fine print.
Yep.
Check that out. So, because, and I've always made the contention too, the last thing you would want when somebody starts their stay at your hotel is when you check in and you're like, oh, there's an extra fee I didn't know about.
Right.
So you're already, it's not like people are going to be happy with that. So
Yep.
Anyways, that's enough of a resort fee rant, I suppose. All right, we stayed in the tower, but there is a separate area that's called Wyndham Garden.
Yes. And this is the rooms. Basically, they're cheaper and they're a motel style rooms like the building is with exterior facing hallways or like the front door.
Mm-hmm.
The non-garden section or the tower section, like our section, had interior hallways. And that's the one that we wanted to book.
Yeah.
So it's kind of confusing because like if you were to go and search for Wyndham Lake Buena Vista, it's going to have both of those listed. And if you're not careful, if you wanted to book a tower, you may accidentally book a garden and not even realize it, because the pictures will show that it's an exterior facing hallway, but not very clearly, if that makes sense. Or like Priceline or hotel.com.
So like a guy holding a sign of the tower in front of it or something.
Right. There should be. But just keep that in mind. So the garden is the one with the exterior face of hallways. The non-garden, so Wyndham Lake Buena Vista, is the tower that we stayed at. So.
All right. Do you want to give we'll talk about our overall hotel thoughts after we talk about the room here.
Sure.
So now we stayed only one night. We did this. We kind of had a kid-free 24 hours.
38 hours.
Okay. It was quick. We came down for a night, stayed and left.
Mm-hmm.
So we stayed, we had the king room.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Disney view.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some queen rooms that have the view or no views as well, but we had the king.
And they have a Lake Buena Vista view, which is there's a lake in the back.
Yeah.
Which would be that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then no view would be like the parking lot.
Always love a parking lot view.
Yeah.
So this room, it has 312 square feet. It's on we were on the 18th floor.
Mm-hmm. So it had a king bed, has a sofa. I don't think it pulled out because the maximum number of people we could have in the room was 3. So I think you could have a rollaway.
Yeah, I don't think it pulled out.
But I don't think it pulled out. I didn't even try. There's a desk. There was a dresser with a few drawers. They did have some stools that you could pull out for extra seating, which is kind of cool. The bathroom had one sink, toilet and shower tub combo, and they also have the closet, like for when you first walk in at the closet, and with the extra linens and ironing board and stuff.
Yes. What were your thoughts on the room? And then we'll talk about the overall resort after that.
Well, this is what I liked about the room. I loved the view.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the view of Disney Springs. Like you could see everything on Disney Springs from where we were. It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you could see Epcot, you could see Hollywood Studios, you could even see some fireworks. I don't think we were there when the fireworks show was going on, but we could have seen it.
That was the night we stayed here was when we were at Hollywood Studios really late. So we didn't see any fireworks in the room. Right.
So I really enjoyed the view from there. Had a good amount of space. Like I felt like we could spread out pretty well and had a good amount of space.
It wasn't cramped. Size was not a factor. Yeah.
Right. The rate, I feel like the rate was decent. It was $169 a night, and that was with an AP discount. So it wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the fridge was bigger than normal fridges, like a Disney fridge. Remember how big it was? It was like twice as big.
Yeah. Well, you find that a lot of times on off properties, the fridges are bigger than the ones you get at Disney. Disney doesn't give you much space.
We stay at Disney a lot, so I feel like I have to.
It's nice. That. It's nice when you have that for sure. We didn't really utilize it this trip because we didn't really bring much with us, but it does leave you room if you go eat. You can have your leftovers in there. Granted, you don't have a microwave in the room, but
no microwave.
You do have that.
And I also like the art above the bed.
Yeah,
it was pretty.
That wasn't bad.
It was pretty.
Okay.
But that's kind of where it stops.
Well, I guess I will. Those are the pluses. I agree with
The
those.
pluses.
So I would say overall, the vibe, it definitely feels dated in this room.
It really does.
And one thing I did notice when we stayed, it wasn't an incredibly hot day by any means. I would say it was, when we checked in, it was probably high 80s, maybe that day. It was a little rainy, so it wasn't.
Oh wait, no. These 2 days were pretty low. They were like in the high 70s.
Okay, it wasn't
Yeah.
bad. And the window, you could tell a noticeable difference. Like if you were by the window, it was a few degrees warmer for sure. Like it felt warmer. And they were older windows. They just weren't very well insulated. So I can only imagine this room on a really hot summer day probably has a very hard time staying cool. And again, some hotels, this happens, and I don't know why, but the AC in this room was weird. You would put it at like 70, and then it would get down to 72, and then it would turn off. And then it would kick back, but it never would get down to the temperature. And not that I'm saying to do this, you can find out ways to override the hotel, thermometer gauge there if you want.
Oh, Jared.
I'm not saying I did that. I'm saying you can do that. And I'm saying that was kind of the main way to get the room to the temperature you actually wanted in here. So that was, and it was very loud. I will say, like it would come on and come off, and it wasn't quiet. But again, you could tell it was an older room, an older hotel. The bathroom was it was fine. It was just really low ceilings. It felt really cramped.
The whole thing had low ceilings. Yeah,
It did.
Everything was low to the ground too. Remember that?
I mean, I had to duck to get. I mean, I'm 6'3". I'm not like insanely tall, but I had to duck to get in. I felt like I kind of had to in the shower. I couldn't really stand up totally straight. So, but again, I mean, it was fine. I mean, the shower worked. It was clean. It had the counter and everything. So none of it was like dingy or dirty, but it just felt really cramped. And the light in there was only the light you had from the mirror. So it had a light inside the mirror, didn't have an overhead light. So it was kind of
It was really dark in the shower.
Yeah, you didn't have a lot of light in there.
Right. There was also no fan in there.
There was no fan. Yeah.
And the bed was way too soft. Like the mattress needed to be changed.
It wasn't the most comfortable. It was a king size bed, so there's plenty of room, but I can't say it was the most comfortable bed. I mean, I'm used to our bed's pretty nice, so I'm definitely used to a certain level of mattress.
Certain level. Mattress.
I mean, I just am. I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty soft. I mean, the room was clean. The couch, you could tell, it needed a little cleaning. It's an older couch. It kind of, like I told Jamie, the first half of the room felt kind of updated. And then the second half of the room toward the window, it kind of reminded me of my grandparents' house growing up, where it was like, it stopped being, like it stopped at like 1995, and everything beyond the bed was like dated that much. Like the desk was older looking. Everything just looked kind of dated. It just needed a refurb, basically.
Yeah.
Not dirty, just seemed a little older. But yeah, I mean, the size was fine. It just, overall, I think it could have done a refurb and little things that were just kind of like, again, like the air conditioner. Like you don't really think about the AC being kind of weird. It's kind of annoying, especially when, you want to sleep and it's cool. And, I can only imagine if it was really hot outside, trying to get that AC to keep that room cool, given how the window doesn't really insulate very well. So that's kind of our views on the room. So, I mean, given that price point, the location's really good. The bed's subjective. Some people probably think the bed's just fine. So that just depends on your taste on bed and things like that.
I was thinking like, did it used to be a different hotel and they bought it?
I'm guessing probably.
That's like what I was thinking. I just don't know. I'll have to look that up sometime.
I'm assuming it changed ownership. It would be my guess. I think Wyndham has done that in the past. Now, I guess a question to ask, because this is a Wyndham hotel, and they kind of have a reputation. Do they try? Did they ever try to hard sell us on timeshares and things like that?
No, they didn't. When you first walk in the lobby, you kind of have to go back a little bit to check in on the left side. And there is a desk beyond that talks about like Wyndham Vacations or whatever it is. But no, there was no haggling. The only thing they said was, if you want to get your welcome packet, go see the desk. And I was like, I know exactly what that means.
Right. And
so I didn't do it.
That's when they would do that.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah, that's something. I mean, I think anytime you mention Wyndham, people will ask that because there's, some people, I guess they can be pushy. I don't know if they are anymore at most places, but yeah. So they didn't do that with us at least. So
it did used to be a different hotel. It was called Regal's Sun, and Wyndham bought it and redid it. So yeah, it's been there for a while.
Okay.
Just FYI.
I figured as much. All right. I mean, that's, kind of our thoughts on the room. Hotel in general. One thing I will say, the lobby was really nice. But it was nice. I think they put most, knowing that they redid this hotel, I think they put most of the money into the lobby because it's a first impression, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they did. They did. It's interesting with the tower and then the garden section, like flanking it. It's organized weird.
It's
like you had to go down to the bottom floor and then you had to go outside. You know what I mean? Like it was super strange. But anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, so the lobby was nice. Again, it had Joffrey's in there. It's got a bar and you got TVs in there. There used to be a Disney store in here, and we know that because there were signs that said as much.
It was covered, but we could see it.
And we don't know when that was and wasn't there.
Right.
The pool, we checked out the pool. The pool was really nice. So it had a lot of nice the amenities were kind of nice with it. Mm-hmm. It was, I think the lobby definitely gives you a really good first impression, maybe compared to like some of the dated aspects of the rest of the hotel. But
yeah,
overall, anything else you want to add, and what were your overall thoughts? Would you recommend it?
So, okay, obviously the location is amazing. Like if you want to be close to Disney Springs within walking distance, this is a really good one to pick. Mm-hmm. Hilton Lake Buena Vista is across the street, which is also close. We have stayed there one time, but it's been years, so we may have to redo that one again. Hilton Palace is kind of catty corner right behind. I mean, you can see the pool from mm-hmm. our room of that one, which is also close. So we need to try that one too. I don't know if I would stay here again unless it was for the location. We always, we talk about Drury hotels a lot and what they offer, and the fact that it's a new hotel, and comparing that to this, I would pick Drury. I would pick Drury over that.
I was going to mention that as well. Okay, so I agree. I'm a big fan of Drury. I really like that a lot. This hotel, again, location's great, like you said. It was a bit dated for my liking. And again, if you're staying here and it's really hot on some of these rooms, I think you may have an issue with that AC keeping that room cool. Would I recommend it? It depends on the price. Like I think if this was priced if you can get this for like in the 130 range, yeah, okay. Ooh. Like, that
might be hard to do.
It could be very hard to do. Mm-hmm. To me, at the 150, 160 range, I think I would rather maybe spend a little bit more and stay with Drury.
Yeah.
And because you get, again, it's a new hotel. I think the room's a little bit bigger. You get the food, you get the drinks included, and it's basically the same location, walking distance. So
you walk how much more do you walk? Maybe 5, 7 more minutes?
Maybe, but we don't walk to Disney Springs, really, because we always have a car. So
yeah,
for us, that's really not something that goes into my calculations on it. It could for you, so that's something that you just have to look at.
But it's not a bad walk, though.
No,
that's the thing.
And this one, if your main thing is you want to go to Disney Springs, it's right there. Mm-hmm. So that could be a thing where, you walk at the hotel to the right, and you were like at the parking lot.
Yeah.
So for me, I wouldn't go out of my way to stay here again. I'll put it that way.
Same.
If we're talking about Disney Springs and this is the area we want to be, my first choice is still going to be Drury.
Yeah.
And we've talked about over the Flamingo Crossing area as well. We like those hotels over there. I think I like Drury better than those, given quality of the hotel and location. But Flamingo Crossing, I think, is, especially if you got a car, those are a good option. But it was it's just kind of a dated hotel. Service was good. The front desk, when you go check in, they were all really courteous and nice, and no complaints there at all.
No, it was a good experience. It was just there were some things about it that was like, I don't know if I'd do this again in the near future. So if we're talking like ranking 1 out of 10, like my favorite hotel ever as a 10 and my least favorite 1, I would say probably falls in like a 5.
I think that's fair.
5.
I was going to say.
I mean, location alone puts it at higher.
You can make an argument location maybe makes it a 6.
Maybe.
To me, I'm still going to put it around a 5.
Joffrey's being in the lobby is nice. I will say that.
It is nice. And again, the lobby is nice. I mean, if you need to do some work, it'd be a great place to go do it. And it does have bus transportation.
Right. Yeah.
So it's got some pluses to it. It's just, it really depends on how much time you plan. If you just basically want a place to rest your head and that's it, again, I think there might be nicer hotels that may be in the same price range or a little cheaper even than this, but given your location,
it'll be hard to be as close to Disney Springs and get cheaper.
Yeah. So
unless you stay in the garden section.
Yeah. I think the biggest draw to this would be its location. So.
Yeah. I think I would rank it a little bit higher if they had the character breakfast back. They used to have a Disney character breakfast, actual characters at the breakfast.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They haven't done that since 2019. So I think it was 2019. It's been a while. So I was sad when I learned this because I had heard about it, but I was like, oh, they haven't brought that back. So
yeah, I mean, I think overall the weakest thing about the whole hotel is the room. Yep. So everything else is kind of fine and maybe is nice, but the room was definitely the weakest part. So
yeah.
So all right, well, that'll do it for our review of Lake Buena Vista or Wyndham, excuse me, not Lake Buena Vista itself. It's just a lake.
I think it's Wyndham Lake Buena Vista, Disney Springs area or something. It's like really long.
That's what she said.
There you go.
Anyways, agree.
So,
all right, well, that'll do it for the show. Before we go, be sure to check us out on social media. We are at Cap the Magic everywhere except for TikTok, and we are at Capture the Magic. And if you want to check out on YouTube, we do have a vlog that will come up on this. It might be next week when it comes up, but we did vlog this if you want even more, firsthand views of it. And we will vlog, obviously. I think when this comes out, we will have our entire tour of Minion Land that we checked out in the soft opening over at Universal Studios. And we also we have the YouTube channel at Cap the Magic, and then we have at CTM Podcast, where we have the video versions of the podcast and show clips over there. So if you want that, subscribe over there at CTM Podcast. And if you want the vlogs, just at Cap the Magic. So we kind of separated those out. And if you want even more content, we have the CTM Universal show, like we talked about, that is now twice a month. And the show coming up on Monday is all about Minion Land and what we thought about it. And, we ate there, we walked around, we checked it all out. So we'll talk all about that in depth on that show. And Jamie has Trip Tales, and that's her trip report show. And I think you're filming that one or recording that one the next one next week.
It'll have to be next week. I kind of ran out of time, so we'll actually have 2 episodes in July. So it'll be the first Monday of July. It'll be the next one.
There you go. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, like I said, if you want even more content, ctmvip.com is where you go for that. We've got the private podcast feed there with more shows and everything like that. So that'll do it. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
we will see you in the parks.
Bye.